This is Statlander, and welcome to Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024, and tonight I'll be talking about AEW Dynamite. Alright, but before we get into things, I made a new banner, so let me know what you guys think. I like it. It's freaking more phenomenal. So let's kick things off talking about Mercedes Mone and Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. As we all know, this past Sunday at Forbidden Door, Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. made her grand return after Mercedes Mone became a double champion. I like the new banner. Oh, thank you. Yes, so tonight they came face to face. And honestly, banner looks awesome. Thank you. And honestly, I was not expecting them to come face to face so quickly. I kind of thought that they were going to hold off on Mercedes Mone and Britt Baker. But no, it's happening at All In. Let's get into it. So before Mercedes had her championship celebration, Britt Baker was out there. She cut a whole promo in a segment. And it was such a baby face segment that it's more fun. You mean more phenomenal? I love Britt, but I wasn't feeling her promo talk tonight. Okay, it's understandable. I feel like this was such a babyface promo. She's going to be the babyface in this feud with Mercedes Mone, and it makes a lot of sense. It definitely makes a lot of sense, especially because the fans definitely seem to be behind Britt Baker here. During Britt's promo, we find out that she had 2 herniated discs, an injured hip labrum. Ow, that must have hurt. And she suffered from a transient ischemic attack, a mini stroke. So, damn, I can't believe she went through all that. But more power to her for revealing this on air. Damn, I can't imagine what she must have gone through that. And she calls out Mercedes. She doesn't directly say her name, but she calls her out during this. Because she says it must be so rewarding for someone to call herself the CEO after shedding blood, sweat, and tears in the very ring and building this company from the ground up. She's young to get him. She's my age. Young. Yeah, she is. So it's very scary. I can't imagine that. So as we all know, Mercedes Mone calls herself the CEO of the women's division. And Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D., has long said that she was a pillar of AEW. I mean, when she was the whole role model gimmick. You guys remember the role model gimmick, which I actually really liked. I liked her role model gimmick. She said she was the face of the division. It's true. She laid the groundwork. She was the first female signed to AEW. She built that division from the ground up, like she mentioned. It's a completely different division these days. And I can't imagine how Britt felt knowing that Toni Concord, Mercedes Mone, the face of AEW, the face of the women's division, especially because Britt Baker was that. So it makes perfect sense that they're feuding with each other. She basically says that she doesn't need to manipulate the fans, and she's saying D.M.D. And one of the things I like about this is that when Mercedes Mone pulls up, she pulls up and you can see her on the Titantron and Britt's still in the ring, and she meets up with the Bugs, and they basically congratulate her and say she's a CEO they can get behind of. So again, she's going to be the heel in this. And I think her being the heel is her strong suit. It was a good segment. Looking forward to the match at All In. Definitely looking forward to it too. Like I said, I'm really surprised it's happening so quickly. You would have think that they would build to it. Glad Monè is establishing as a full heel and suits her. Yeah, I definitely do think she makes a better heel than she does face. But they confront, this leads into her championship celebration. Britt does bring up the fact that she wrestled at the first All In, and she was at last year's All In while Mercedes Mone was in the crowd, and they called each other bitch. They kept calling each other bitches back and forth. And of course, Mercedes ends with, "There's a price to pay when you mess with Mercedes Monet." So I did like this segment. I felt like promo wise, I was expecting Britt to say so much more, like say that she built this division. I mean, she kind of did say she built the division, but like, damn, like, just wait until I cannot wait to hear more promos from them. I feel like it's gonna be good. This was just a small taste of it. I can't wait to see what they give us next. But this is really good. If done correctly, this would be a great feud and a great match at all. And as the CEO of the women's division versus the face of the women's division, like, Britt did help lay the foundation for AEW's women's division. So we'll wait and see, but I cannot wait. I don't know if Britt will beat Mercedes at All In, especially because Mercedes just won those double belts. We gotta wait and see. So next, let's talk about the men's Owen Hart tournament first round match. It's Hangman Adam Page versus Jeff Jarrett. Yes, so Hangman Adam Page ended up being the wild card. Remember, the Elite said that they had a wild card in this match and ended up being Hangman Adam Page. I have to say, I felt so bad for Jeff Jarrett. His connection to Owen and him wanting to win this, or at least make it to Calgary for Owen. My heart just broke for him. I just felt so bad for him. Like, I knew he wasn't going to win when he got the wild card. I definitely knew that. And if you were going to, why put him in the tournament if you're just going to have him lose? Like, I get, based on what they did here tonight, why he was in the tournament, but damn, like, that soul-crushing 9-minute uncut promo that he did on Collision like a couple weeks ago, talking about the Owen Hart tournament, I was like, damn, man, I can't believe they did that. But like, Hangman got new music, and like, his, like, the lights dimmed, so you could barely see him, but I'm digging his new music. Who shouldn't even be in the tournament? But like, damn, like, Jeff Jarrett didn't even get offense, and he got some offense, but Hangman was just beating the tar out of him. You know, that the shirt that he did to Hangman on the ring apron was pretty cool. And I really like the fact that the entire time, like, Jeff Jarrett was trying to do the sharpshooter, but Hangman kept preventing him from doing the sharpshooter until he finally did it. And like, you know, Owen, the sharpshooter was one of Owen's finisher, so he did it as a tribute to Owen Hart. Jeff deserved to be in it. Yeah, I disagree, Michael. Jeff did deserve to be in it. He's Owen's former tag team partner. He's the only one in the tournament who had a connection to Owen Hart. I think I wouldn't have mind Jeff Jarrett winning this tournament, but I could see why he didn't win, because the winner was going to get a title match at All In, which brings me to my next point. I definitely do think Hangman is winning this, because as we all know, last year he had a feud with Swerve Strickland, a feud which he did not win. I mean, remember, Swerve Strickland entered his house. He busted him open in that Texas match that they did at Full Gear, which I was there for. And like, he just could not beat Swerve Strickland. And even this year at Revolution, he was the one who lost the match. He's the one that got the pin. So it makes sense that the All-In main event is going to be Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page. And I do think that this time around, Hangman Adam Page will probably beat Swerve Strickland. I mean, with this new music and new attitude, I don't think there's any way he doesn't win. But what do you guys think of Hangman's new music, his new attitude, and the possibility of him facing Swerve Strickland at All In? Let me know in the live chat or in the comment section below. The match served its purpose. Yeah, I felt really bad because Jeff Jarrett, man, like, maybe next year he'll enter and win. All right, let's start from the beginning. So tonight's Dynamite kicked off with a Daniel Garcia interview, and basically what we gathered from this interview was that MJF was going to be in Daniel Garcia's corner. You guys remember last week, MJF offered to face Daniel Garcia at All In, but Will Ospreay upstaged him and offered to do a winner-take-all match, assuming that Will Ospreay won at Forbidden Door. It kills Hangman that Swerve Strickland is champion, so I'm looking forward to the next showdown. Me too. And he even shakes hands with Daddy Magic here, MJF. So that was going to be the main event. Daniel Garcia versus Will Ospreay, but I'll get to that. So we get the Owen Hart Tournament men's semifinals match. Bryan Danielson versus Pac. This was a really great match. I honestly would not have minded if this was the main event because this was such a fantastic match. And according to commentary, they've only had 2 singles matches, which took place 15 years ago. Like the crowd, even before the match started, they were chanting, "Holy shit." Because this match was really, really great. Like, dang. But Bryan Danielson won after with that crucifix to Pac. I would not have minded if Pac won here, but I can understand why Bryan Danielson won. So Daniel Bryanson advances to the finals, and he's going to face the winner of Hangman and Jay White, which I think is going to be Hangman, so we could probably get Bryan versus Hangman. You know, this is Bryan's last run as full-time wrestler, so I think that's probably why he beat Pac, but it was a really great match. We get Willow Nightingale, and basically, let me see, good match from Bryan and Pac. Obviously, Bryan was going to win. Yeah, that's true. So during this Willow Nightingale, she basically finds out that she's going to try to be the first ever 2-time Owen Hart Foundation tournament winner. She's just got to get through Kris Statlander. We get a Mark Briscoe segment, and he declares himself the first member of Team AEW. Now, you guys remember, Swerve Strickland said that the next time there's a Team AEW versus the Elite, he wanted to be a part of it. So with Swerve Strickland making his grand return next week, I wonder if he's going to announce himself as a member of Team AEW. After all, he is the AEW World Champion, so it would make sense for him to be in Team AEW, right? So, this leads to Jack Perry attacking Mark Briscoe, and then Okada comes out, Kyle O'Reilly comes out, and Mark Briscoe ends up getting the EVP trigger. Daddy Acclaim and the Ass come on, the Elite scatter. So obviously things are not over between the Acclaim and the Elite. They still have their championship match they gotta get to. So you get a Toni Storm interview. And I find it interesting that during this interview, Toni Storm, cut off Renee Paquette when Renee was about to ask, what if Mariah May won? Which I do think is going to happen. I do think Mariah May is going to win this tournament. We're going to get Toni Storm versus Mariah May at All In. Because that's what their storyline has been leading to. Mariah May versus Toni Storm. And I really like the fact that Toni Storm allows Mariah May to say her line, chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe. So, we get the Owen Hart Tournament women's semifinal matches, Kris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale. Now, I thought it was interesting that during this, Stokely Hathaway tried to help Kris Statlander by placing a chain in the ring, but she ends up almost accidentally hitting him. And Willow won by a roll-up. So I don't think the feud between them is over yet. I don't think so. This roll-up victory makes me think that their feud is going to continue. We're supposed to get a Jeff Jarrett interview, but he walks away, and Jay Lethal speaks on Jeff Jarrett's behalf. Basically says that tonight is about honoring Jeff Jarrett's best friend, Owen Hart. And that's when we get the Britt, after this last one, we get the Britt Baker D.M.D. segment, but I already talked about that. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this Will Ospreay interview. Let's see. Statlander's going to cost Willow in the finals, I bet. Oh, I could totally see that happening. So what we learned from this is that Will Ospreay is still very loyal to Don Callis for everything that he's done for him. And he basically wants out of the Don Callis family. And even though Don Callis pretends to be cool with this, he says that he's happy to do this favor for Ospreay and says that maybe someday Ospreay will do a favor for him. Like, when he's like hugging him, like his face kind of like says it all. Like, he does not seem happy that Will Ospreay is leaving the Don Callis family. And like Kyle Fletcher leaves with Don Callis. So very interesting. I feel like maybe Will Ospreay will eventually kind of have a feud with Don Callis family here, especially after that. I don't think Don Callis is too happy that Will Ospreay's leaving. So we get a learning tree segment. I was not a huge fan of this. I don't really like Chris Jericho's learning tree gimmick. But the whole point of this is that Chris Jericho is going to do commentary for the trios match. And poor Taz gets the boot from commentary because of Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, an executive order. And he's relieved from his commentary duties. So, not a huge fan of this learning tree stuff. This leads into the trios match. Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata versus Cage of Agony, which is Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. This was an alright match. I really, really like the finish to this, though. I like the fact that Hook had the red rum locked into Khan. Katsuyori Shibata was doing the sleeper to Brian Cage. And Samoa Joe had the Coquina clutch locked into Tona Leona. And then, like, they get attacked by... Give Team Joe the trios belts? Maybe once the Bang Bang Gang is done feuding with House of Black. Like, Brian Keith rips off that sling, and I'm like, wait, what? So his arm was never injured in the first place? They put Hook through a table, and like backstage, Hook is being examined by medical, and he gets thrown a fireball by Chris Jericho. And you remember Chris Jericho used to do that when he was doing when he said he was a wizard, something like that. So he didn't do that much. All right. And then afterwards we get the Hangman Adam Page versus Jeff Jarrett, but I talked about that. So let's go ahead and into this Hangman Adam Page interview. So basically, before he can even answer Renee Paquette's questions, like, the Bucks interrupt, and Michael, like, guys, I knew, but you guys remember the Elite suspended Hangman after Revolution for his actions, and they basically asked him to be the fifth guy in the Blood and Guts match. But Hangman does not he doesn't like this. He basically tells him that he's not their puppet anymore, and he's not the Elite's guy anymore, and he's not a child anymore. He says he's in the Owen, and he's going to win the Owen, and he basically, like, shoves Nicholas Jackson out of the way, and they're kind of like, oh, whoa, what's his problem? And Matthew Jackson welcomes Hangman back to AEW. Your Mercedes is best Mercedes, and she outshined Britt at that point. I agree. Your Mercedes is the best Mercedes. I do think she did a little better than Britt, but you know, I think Britt can't. I think she still needs to do some work on her babyface promos. I thought it was a decent promo. So the main event is the international title match. It's Daniel Garcia versus Will Ospreay. Now remember, this was supposed to be a winner-take-all match, assuming Will Ospreay won the AEW World title at Forbidden Door. He didn't. So this was just a match for the international title. And MJF was at ringside. So this is a really great match. Obviously, Will Ospreay won after a hidden blade. But interesting thing is that during this match, MJF leaves his Dynamite diamond ring for Daniel Garcia to use, but he doesn't want to use it. And this causes that you could basically say Daniel Garcia lost because of MJF. So after he takes a hidden blade, Will Ospreay wins this. And like, I really like the fact that Will Ospreay was consoling Daniel Garcia, that MJF, like, he lifts Garcia's hand, gives him a hug, and this is why he's always going to be a scumbag. He gives Daniel Garcia a low blow and then a lariat. Daddy Magic tried to help him, but like, he got knocked out with that Dynamite diamond ring, and then he got like busted open. Daniel Garcia is also busted open. And at the end of all of this, like, Will Ospreay tries to come back to help him. Daniel Garcia got carried away in a stretcher. So where I think this is going, maybe a triple threat match at All In. Same old Maxo. The MJF we all know and love is back. That's true. Maybe a triple threat. Maybe Will Ospreay versus MJF versus Daniel Garcia for that international title. Because you remember, they teased MJF and Will Ospreay. Granted, I want that as a one-on-one match. But maybe they'll tease it even more with a triple threat match. Is that, you guys think? What do you think? Triple threat match at All In. Daniel Garcia versus Will Ospreay versus MJF. Though, I think they'll save the MJF versus Will Ospreay match for another time. But overall, let's see. This also pretty much confirms Adam MJF feud is done too. Yeah, pretty much. Like, that feud kind of didn't go anywhere because of the unfortunate injuries that were sustained by both MJF and Adam Cole, baby. I still think, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I still think that the original plan was probably supposed to be Adam Cole, baby, versus MJF at Worlds, and with Adam Cole winning the title. And, you know, I think that Adam Cole is still going to be revealed to be the devil, but I think it was going to play out so much more differently than it did. Unfortunately, injuries put a halt to that feud. So, all right. So, on a scale from a 1 to a Sean Spears perfect 10, I'd give this a 7. Wasn't too bad of a show. I dug it. My one complaint was the learning tree segment. I was not a huge fan of the learning tree. Also, the trios match was okay. Wasn't too bad. 6 out of 10 decent show, but sentiment weeks. You know, so for me, it's a 7 out of 10. All right. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a video. I won't be reviewing TNA Impact tomorrow over on Body Slam. Normally, I go live every Thursday on Body Slam for TNA, but not tomorrow. So I will see you guys Friday after Friday night SmackDown. Bye.